Hi there, guys, and welcome to a Dash of Sports, the Premier League show. I'll be your host and presenter, Dashiki Dash, and I'm back with another recap of all the Premier League matches, and also going to be giving you the preview to the up and coming games that's going to be going on this weekend. That's going to be match week 3. So I'll be going through the recaps of match week 2, which saw us see some crazy stuff only 2 weeks into the Premier League, and we've been seeing some madness with fights, Tuchel versus Conte. We've been seeing some refereeing decisions that, goodness me, it hasn't been great. It hasn't been great. But before I start, just make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Smash that like button, comment, and help me to get these subs up. I truly appreciate. Now, I've been thrown off a little bit by if you would have saw and I put on the socials that obviously I'm coming live and everything like this, but I've just seen the most hilarious news. And if I just put it up, Kieran Tierney suffered a knee injury while stepping out of the shower. This has been announced. I don't know if it's been revealed by, I think it's the Arsenal doctor, who revealed that Kieran Tierney suffered a knee injury after walking out of the shower. And this was what kept him out of essentially the season last season, kept him out, which was pretty much the collapse of Arsenal's Champions League charge. And this is actually mad. This guy is constantly injured. And of all things to be injured from is the fact that you stepped out the shower and you injured your knee. Now, I don't know what this guy needs to do, but he needs to hurry up and get over this injury, like hoodoo that he's got, man. But like as soon as I saw the news of Kieran Tierney injuring himself, I actually thought it was instantly today. But then when I read on more about it, it was basically the back end of last season. So this is even more funny because it's just like these are the sort of things that Arsenal needs to take care of, man. The injury prone players. Like every time we buy players, and I say we because I'm an Arsenal fan, they always come up injured. Who remembers when Arsenal brought Kim Kallstrom with his broken back? My back. My back is broken, spinal, broken back. We get all of these players when they come to the team. Partey, even as most recent as well, never had injuries, is getting injured left, right, and center. Like, I don't wish badness on these players or anything like that. All I can just try and send out these positive energy and all that. But Kieran Tierney just makes me laugh to just think that of all things to get him injured is stepping out of the shower. This reminds me, I think it happened to David James. Was it David James that he got injured whilst playing on his computer game or something? And I don't know if he stepped off his couch or stepped off his bed and he got injured as well. And that kept him out for a very long period of time. I think Rio Ferdinand's had a similar kind of like innocuous kind of injury as well, like stepping on toys or something like that. Anyway, if you remember these things, just put your comments down below because this is actually ridiculous. Let me know as well on what's the funniest injury a player's ever had, like how they've got injured basically. If you know of any like funny stories of players getting injured, put your comments down below and let me know, man. But I thought I'll just open up with that because as soon as I literally was going live, prepping and everything like that, and then I just saw that funny news and I was just like, nah, man, you know what? I'm gonna jump live onto that. Anyway, moving on today's show, we've got match week 2 recap. Conte versus Tuchel. We've got Brentford who battered Man United 4-0. And then the Nunez madness, just going off on one, getting sent off in ridiculous fashion, costing Liverpool the game, really. But obviously, I'll go into it much more in what happened and also go in with what happened to Liverpool. That was a Liverpool versus Crystal Palace Monday night football game. Man, Nunez needs to reevaluate because the little minor scuffles and hustling and tussling that he got in that game against Crystal Palace, I don't think he's seen anything yet. This is the Premier League, so once he's exposed himself to being easily wound up like that, he's going to get much more during this season. All right, so let me just go through the score lines for match week 2. Just gonna go through a quick recap. Some really good games, man. Some really good games. Just starting off on Saturday's games, we had Aston Villa 2-1 against Everton. Arsenal beating Leicester 4-2. Brighton versus Newcastle 0-0. A scoreboard draw there. Man City, I did say, I'm actually need to go and revise my predictions. I did say that Man City was going to win 4-0, and I got that one right. 4-0 against Bournemouth. Southampton versus Leeds, that was 2-2. Desmond right there, RIP. Wolves versus Fulham, that was a scoreboard draw, 0-0. And then, man, the result that, look, I thought that Brentford was going to win. I had in mind that Brentford would win. I did say on the last show that, the bookies were highly in favor of Brentford winning, but nobody saw that Brentford was going to win 4-0. And not only just 4-0, 4-0 by half time. A real beatdown, battered. So I'm going to get into that game as well as my one of my highlighted games. My highlighted games for today is Man United, Brentford versus Man United, the Chelsea versus Spurs game, and then we got the Liverpool Crystal Palace, and obviously Arsenal being my team. I'll shed some light on that. So just jumping on quickly, Conte versus Tuchel. What a game. Chelsea versus Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur. And this is a question I've asked a couple of my Spurs friends. If I want to call them that, a couple of my friends that obviously support Spurs. And I was asking the Chelsea versus Tottenham rivalry now, the London derby between those two teams. How fierce is it? How spicy is it nowadays? And you know what? I want to try and word this properly, but could we now be seeing Spurs versus Chelsea, Chelsea versus Spurs as big as the North London derby? I don't know, man. Put your comments down below if you agree with me. Whether you're a supporter of any of these London teams, or you're just watching from on the outside. Is Chelsea Spurs Chelsea just as big as the North London derby between Tottenham and Arsenal and Tottenham? Because at the moment it is actually really spicy, and I don't know how people felt about all of the handbags and the little tussle and bustle between Conte and Tuchel, but I actually liked it. I was saying it the other day. I was just like, man, like the Premier League, love it. Love the Premier League. Love what it has to offer. But you just get that sense of like the characters that we had back in the days. They're long gone. The managers, there's no bite. There's no like competitive edge. Like, we want to see like the managers. I want to see the managers going at it like that. Like, I liked it. It just shows that the type of hunger that they have just to win games. This is the Premier League. If we're not going to get it from the managers, we're definitely not getting it from the players. Long gone the days of your Roy Keanes and Patrick Vieira and Martin Keown and Ruud van Nistelrooy. All of that kind of biting edge. Everybody just fighting to be as successful as possible. Yes, we don't want it to go over the edge, but at the same time, man, I liked it. I liked it. Anyway, just going into the game, we had it was 2-2 goals from Koulibaly. Then there was an equalizer. Oh, sorry. Then equalizer from Højbjerg. Then we had Reece James who scored, kept that put Chelsea up to 2-1, and then some controversial circumstances. Even Tottenham's goal was a bit controversial. Well, I say a bit controversial. It was controversial, man. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an Arsenal fan. The game was just marred with such like mad decisions. Potentially an offside goal when Højbjerg obviously scores to equalize. And then the last minute goal, Harry Kane flicks on, it goes in. But just before that, I don't know what was going on. Some WWE street fighting, hair pull, Romero on Cucurella. He's pulled him. Now, there's a great area within the laws of football. This is not even a law in the game, like hair pulling. For me personally, it's an assault. I want to call it what it is. It's an assault. It's you are playing the game in a really unfair manner, if you want to say that, and but primarily it's an assault, man. You're pulling someone's hair, and this, only people that have long hair are going to suffer this as well. So it can't be a situation where this is not deemed as violent conduct. It has to be deemed as violent conduct. So if you didn't watch the game, Romero's obviously pulled Cucurella's hair. Now this is the point where I was just like, I need to hear this from the Premier League, from the referees, association. Someone needs to come out, VAR. Someone needs to come out and say what happened. The referees, it's in the line of the referee, the eye line of the referee, and he doesn't see it or doesn't call it. It goes to VAR. They're speaking to the referee. They've definitely told him, like, look, there's some hair pulling, but obviously there's nothing you can do about it. And then they've played on. Now, what would be the situation with that? Like, how would they, if they were to explain why that wasn't given as a free kick, what would they say? Or, penalize or whatever it is. Like, so what they're trying to say, because they never penalized Romero, so what they're saying is, like, as long as the referee doesn't see, you can get away with pulling someone's hair and bringing them down to the ground. They're going to have to change the law, man, because this in itself should have been brought back. It should have been deemed a free kick. It wasn't. And then what happened was it went out for another corner, and then Tottenham scored to equalize. Now, within that time, when Tottenham equalized, Conte was rearing it up. If you watch the game, there was what was deemed by many to have been a foul, but to the referee and the officials, it wasn't a foul on Havertz. Then shortly after that, maybe about 40 seconds later, Tottenham have scored. Now, once Tottenham equalized, Conte was on one. Just before that, Tuchel was obviously just beside himself. He was going to the fourth official. So for me, like, I felt, because he stepped forward, he stepped to the official, it looked like he was stepping to Conte, and obviously Conte's now gone into Tuchel's face. They're going at it. They both get a yellow card. Anyway, so fast forward to the end of the game. Tuchel's obviously celebrated because they've scored. They've made it 2-1. He's gone dashing down the length of the field, Mourinho-esque. That's obviously made things even more heated. Then at the end of the game, all of the controversy with the hair pulling, whistle's gone. Both managers walking towards each other. They go to shake hands, and then I don't know what. It was some Groves and some boxing style kind of grip, like when you're shaking hands, you don't want to let go. And Tuchel just pulling Conte back. So at that particular time, the melee players coming together, and then both get a red card. Now, like I said, I don't know about you, But I liked all of that. It was entertainment. But unfortunately, it's within the game, and you got to keep the game in some type of well-mannered sport and all of that kind of stuff. Um, they were given red cards. So at the end of it, the game ended 2-2, and this return fixture is gonna be mad, absolutely mad. I can see like real fireworks, and this is why I'm saying, is this North London? Well, so if is this London derby just as big as the North London derby? I can't remember the last time I saw the managers going at it and beef and all that kind of stuff. But North London derby does get heated at times. Uh, but at the moment, I'm seeing that there's a bit of more feistiness, a bit more spice and edginess to the Chelsea Spurs fixture at the moment. But you guys, let me know, man. If you think I'm bugging, let me know as well. But I reckon at the moment that derby match is actually going crazy. Chelsea played well. They showed even without a striker, to be fair, actually, if Chelsea had a striker or someone that can really finish, they would have gone clear of this game. They had many chances, haven't missed a chance. Yeah, and then it's one of those games, like if you don't put away your chances, it's the chances then goes to the other team, and then it always happens, isn't it? And they take their opportunity. With Spurs, I wouldn't particularly say they played well. I think most Spurs fans would agree they didn't play well. But what I would say, and what I ultimately would admire, me saying this, is the fact that they still had an edge about them. And you can see that all coming from Conte right now. He's really instilling some type of attitude, and that kind of bite and that fight that Tottenham probably would have been lacking in the last, well, for a very long time. So a game like this where you wasn't supposed to really get anything out of it, and you walk away from Stamford Bridge, knowing that you lost 3 games against Chelsea last season. Chelsea completely, were Spurs were completely like doormats to Chelsea last season. To walk away with a point, not playing well, it gives you a bit of confidence against Chelsea, and confidence to go into your next game, which Spurs have got Wolves at home, to go into your next game and knowing like, yo, we can push on from this. So, I don't. I'm trying not to rate Spurs too much, but listen, man, they did well. They did well. Like at the beginning of the game, they would have if you told them that they was going to get a draw, they would have taken that result. So kudos to Spurs, and can't wait to see the return leg, and can't wait to see more of Conte versus Tuchel. They all had they both had some choice words afterwards, but all in all, I think the way they've kind of left things is just like, look, man, it's a competitive game. It's the Premier League. Both teams obviously wanted to win, and it's just a football thing, nothing personal. Just 2 competitive managers going at it, and I'm guessing they're going to be looking forward to meeting each other in the return leg. And let's look out for any maybe cup runs as well. They might meet each other in the cups. That's going to be extra spice as well. So let's wait and see what happens in that game. Moving on to Man United, Brentford, battering. All right, let me just send a message to Man United fans. Yeah, calm down, calm down. Obviously, it's not great to get like battered in that way, but 2 games into the season, remember what happened to Arsenal last season? Losing 3 games in a row is very easy to turn it around. But I do understand that it is deeper than rap right now. There's a lot of things that's going on that is obviously contributing to. We're hearing that Man United fans already calling for the season to end. I'm seeing some crazy rants on Twitter. And when it comes to these rants, yeah, you rant You say what you're saying. You record it. You probably edit it as well, you know. Oh, I didn't. Oh, you re-record it. I didn't do it properly. You rant again. You upload it. You send it on several platforms. Do you not really mean these rants? Like, do you really mean it? Sometimes I feel like it's just all for clout, man. But look, I'm seeing it online. People ranting already, going crazy. Even some people that don't even understand like the running of a club or anything like that. You're calling for the Glazers out and all that kind of stuff. Take time, man. If anything, the blame goes on the players. Get onto the players. These players that you've got, they're shocking. They need to be criticized. I was going to say abused, but I don't want to say abused. Criticized, and it needs to be vocal. It needs to be out there. Um, until these players buck up their ideas, man, I feel sorry for Ten Hag. People are saying now he's not Ten Hag no more. He's 8 Hag. 2 defeats. He's lost 2 lives. Brentford beating Man United 4-0 is madness, though. But I'm sure if Man United gets a win next week, in the next game, which is going to be against Liverpool. Whew, Liverpool. But I'm already, when I get to my predictions and stuff like that, I don't know if many people are going to be surprised with my choosing in regards to that game, but yeah, I'm gonna go for my prediction in that game. But I can see Man United winning that game. I can see, and if they do, it definitely will lift up their spirits. Getting 3 points on the board, and then yeah, you just kick on from there. But Brentford, they did their thing. I know I'm talking about Man United, but you got to think to yourself, man, look at the players that Brentford possessing. Like, you got your Josh De Silvas, Mateus Jensen, Ben Mee, Brian Buembu, who are scoring these goals. Like, these are not household names in it, and they're going out there and they're doing the business. Unfortunately, you got the players at Man United are 80 million. Maguires, you got your Ronaldos, you've got your Ericssons, you've got your Rashfords. Look at the players. Yeah. Don't tell me about the Glazers and all of that kind of stuff, man. Look at these players. These players are shocking. Like, I don't even know what to say, man. Like, these players need to really look at themselves in the mirror and be like, yo, we need to stand up and be counted. But hey, that ain't really my problem, is it? Shout out to the Man United fans in the mud right now, suffering a lot of heartache. But like I said, man, just realistically, when you kind of deep it properly, it's only 2 games. You win your next game, you got your 3 points, and then you can, forward charge, as they say. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see Man United in their next game against Liverpool. And like I said, I'll go through my predictions. Just quickly moving on. So the Liverpool, my goodness, Darwin Nunez. What was you thinking, man? Darwin Nunez with the madness. Look, the advice I would give Darwin Nunez is this, man. You are going to encounter the roughest of defenders, the no-nonsense defenders. This is the the league that we always say that the likes of the more skillful players, and we've always said like the likes of Messi, they wouldn't want to come to the Premier League because you've got like rough and tough defenders. Now, in the incident that we saw with Arneson and Nunez, it wasn't even anything crazy. If you've not seen it, go to YouTube, check it out. It's got like a bit of a compilation of like everything that led up to that red card. And if you didn't watch the game, basically centre back doing his thing to annoy a centre forward, getting on his nerves, pushing him, doing all the I wouldn't even call it dark arts, but doing all that he can to put Nunez off, and then Nunez reacts. He backs up his head a bit. The defender obviously confronts him and say, yo, like, why are you trying to lean with your head? Like, and obviously pushes him. As he pushes him, Nunez squares up, leans with his head. Now, there's leaning with your head. Usually there's a bit of a smart way when you're leaning with the head, but he actually just, really headbutts him. That obviously causes a reaction for the defender. He gets licked in the head. He goes down. Referee right there. And he brandishes a red card, costing Liverpool. At that particular time, obviously, they were 1-0 down. Crystal Palace scoring with a well-worked goal from Eze, through ball to Wilfred Zaha, and he just dispatched it in the right-hand corner. Really, really good goal. Crystal Palace 1-0 up. Obviously, Nunez then gets sent off. But then Luis Diaz, with a brilliant individual goal, equalizes exactly what Liverpool needed, especially just after the sending off. That kind of that really spurred Liverpool on. With that, you wouldn't even thought that Liverpool were a man down. Crystal Palace definitely were hanging on. But if it was a case that Nunez was on the pitch with Luis Diaz scoring, Liverpool definitely would have won that game. So once again, I feel like Liverpool were lucky to come away with that with a draw in that game, off the back of the Fulham draw as well. So that's 2 draws for Liverpool, and the likes of Man City just doing what Man City does, winning 4-0, 2 games, 2 wins, and in the league for the last couple of years, that's been won over small margins, whether it be just a points difference or it could even go down to goal difference, whatever it is. We've seen at the levels, especially Liverpool and Man City, that have set, every game counts, every game counts. And that can be applied to, all the teams in the league. But, when we're looking at Liverpool and Man City and how close that they've been over the years, every game counts, whether it's at the beginning of the league, whether it's the beginning of the season or the end of the season, every game counts. And especially now, the fact that the World Cup is dead in the middle of the season, we don't know, like, what are these early points are going to mean for the, in the grand scheme of things. Do we need to be collecting as many points as we can before the teams go out, players go out to World Cup? How are these players going to come back? Are there going to be any injuries to key players? Already Liverpool at this present moment are suffering from a mad amount of injuries. They've got a lot of injuries. You've got Thiago, you've got who's injured from them again? Canute, who else? They got a load of injuries. Jota's injured. They got a load of injuries anyway, and they're suffering right now. They're suffering. So you imagine, like, after the World Cup, and if you ain't got enough points in the bag, that could be the difference between winning the league and not winning the league. So it's going to be very interesting to see. In regards to Nunez, he's young. I think it was a situation where it's like, I don't feel like he's got this in his in his locker in regards to sending off. There's no history of him getting sent off in Portugal. So I think it was one of them ones, playing under the lights at Anfield. You're kind of overzealous in it. You're really trying to get pumped. You're trying to show that you're about the cause and everything like that. You're not wanting to take no nonsense from the defenders, but you got to use that kind of energy the right way. And look, small margins, man. If he scores that goal, brilliant controlling the chest, the way he found the space at the far post, brought it down, just shagged the finish. He shanked it a bit, and then it's obviously hit the post and come out. VVD's obviously Van Dijk's tried to go for it as well. he's made a mess of that attempted finish. But if you score that goal, then it's different. That even the defender will be like, damn, man, I've been trying to put him off all game and he still managed to score. You feel a bit more smug. You feel a bit more, you're beside yourself a little bit. You've got more energy in regards to obviously when you score. It's a different game, but him doing what he done, reacting like that, it's not really gonna do him any favors. Also, the fact that all the other teams now, all the other centre backs, defenders, I'm gonna be looking at and thinking like, now this is the way to wind them up. I don't know if it's we used to see that with Suarez as well. Like he used to react very, very badly to defenders as well. So I don't know if it's not a Uruguayan thing, but there's similarities there, let's just say. But he's young. With a manager like Klopp, he's definitely gonna take the opportunity to help him curb that side, because you're gonna need Liverpool are definitely gonna need a striker to be banging in the goals, especially with the fact that there's no Mane. We're gonna see whether or not Liverpool are going to be the same outfit with these players. But it's gonna be interesting to see. He's gonna be missing now for the United game, which is gonna be, that's music to Man United. And this is why I'm saying the opportunity for Man United to maybe win that game just increases just a little bit. But that's what was going on in that game. Liverpool obviously coming away with that with a draw. Crystal Palace were happy with that draw. I reckon at the beginning of the game, if they were told that they was going to get a draw at Anfield, they would have taken that right at the beginning of the game. So very interested to see. Just moving on, we're going to go through the fixtures for the games over the weekend. So we've got games on Saturday, we've got games on Sunday, and we've got a game on Monday. So starting off with Saturday's game with the early kickoff, 12:30, Spurs versus Wolves, Tottenham Hotspur versus Wolves. Now, this is going to be a very interesting game. Wolves usually give Spurs a really good game. So we're going to see whether or not can do something there. Then followed by the 3:00 kickoffs, we've got Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa, Everton versus Nottingham Forest, Fulham versus Brentford, Leicester versus Southampton, and then the late kickoff on Saturday, 5:30, is Bournemouth versus Arsenal. Come on, Arsenal. Let's make it 3 in a row. Should be an interesting game. Then on Sunday, we've got Leeds versus Chelsea, 2:00 kickoffs, followed by, same time, West Ham versus Brighton. That should be a very interesting game. Then we have the Battle of the Riches, the rich money clubs, Newcastle versus Man City. Listen, with a game like that, I can only see Man City winning that. Then we have Man United versus Liverpool. That's the Monday night football, 8:00. That's Man United versus Liverpool. Very, very interesting. And like I said earlier on, my prediction for that game is going to be Man United to win. I would even go as far as predicting the score line, and I think it's going to be a 2-1 win for Man United. Now, I believe that Man United is going to win because usually, this is the case, isn't it? You lose against the teams that you're meant to be winning against, and the team that's, everybody thinks is going to beat you, you manage to pull out of the bag. And that's because I feel like the players also will raise their game for this. Like this game in itself, being at Old Trafford as well, they're going to raise their game. They're going to go into this game thinking like, look, man, we cannot lose this game. You get the likes of like Ronaldo who step up all of a sudden, Sancho, even Maguire might even end up having a blinder. De Gea, who made mad mistakes in the Brentford game, all of a sudden becomes, worldy again. So I'm going with Man United to win this game, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see. Hold on to my prediction. Also for you guys as well, give me your predictions for these games as well. So like I said, Spurs versus Wolves, Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa, Everton versus Nottingham Forest, Fulham versus Brentford, Leicester versus Southampton, Bournemouth versus Arsenal. Those are Saturday's games. And then Sunday's games, Leeds versus Chelsea, West Ham versus Brighton, Newcastle versus Man City, and Monday's game, the big game, Man United versus Liverpool. So those are the games for match week 3. I went through match week 2's recaps with the Conte and Tuchel beef, Nunez obviously headbutting the defender, Crystal Palace defender, what's his name? Arneson? I think I got it right there. And then also you got the whole all the refereeing decisions as well, man. Like it's just been mad at the moment. They got to clean that up because I feel like certain teams, don't want to really mention names, but certain teams are getting more favorable decisions than others. So we've got to keep an eye on that. But yeah, man, listen, we're back. That is week 2 recap, giving you the previews for week 3. Definitely, man. The first 2 weeks already has shown us that, listen, the Premier League is the best league in the world, man. it's the best league in the world, man. So hopefully we get to week 3 games, and it's going to give us just as, good of an account for the first 2 games that we've had so far. And let me know, man. Put your comments in below. Let me know how you feel about the fixtures that are coming up. Also, give me your predictions. Let me know who you think is going to win, lose, or draw. And then until the next time here. Oh, also, make sure that you look out for the main show itself, A Dash for Sports. That's when I'm going to be going into more details about Conte and Tuchel, the beef. Don't forget Bruno Lage and, Marsh as well at Leeds. They had their little fracas and little spat as well. And then also I'm going to be talking about the upcoming fight with Usyk and Joshua, some more Jake Paul stuff as well. So keep it locked. A Dash of Sports. That's the main show where I give you all your sports news, hot topics, and trending stories. And until the next time here on A Dash of Sports, the Premier League show, peace.